Welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. And this is the Put Your Foot in Your Mouth edition, with Republican Kevin McCarthy stumbling as a number of his colleagues don't want him as Speaker of the House. And Skip Bayless of Fox Sports tries to repair the damage done by his awful and sensitive tweet after Buffalo Bills player Damar Hamlin suffered cardiac arrest on the field during Monday Night Football. We discuss with Barrington Salmon and Austin Cooper. Hey, guys.
Hey, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you as well. I think Barrington went on mute on us.
Oh, I did?
Oh, there he is.
Oh, okay.
Well, guys, while about 19, now 20 conservative House Republicans have declined 3 times now to vote to make the caucus leader, Rep. Kevin McCarthy, the next House Speaker in 3 rounds of voting, it has been enough to block his ascension for now and force another round of votes. And when is this going to end? The last time House members needed more than 1 round of votes to pick a speaker was in 1923, 100 years ago.
Yeah.
Let's start with you, Austin. This is amazing to watch and on a lot of levels. Look, Hakeem Jeffries, the Democrat leader, got 212 votes, more than anybody else.
Yeah, he actually got 213 votes in the 3 rounds, and like you and Barrington and other political watchers, I have been glued in front of my TV all afternoon and now into the evening. And I have to say that this humiliation, and it's nothing short of humiliation on a national global stage, could not come for a better person than Kevin McCarthy. I feel no sympathy for him whatsoever. As we were saying before we went on air, he started his own demise. I think it's going to end up being a demise this evening or whenever they have the final vote, when he went down to Mar-a-Lago less than 2 weeks. We're approaching two years now, this Friday of January 6th. And when he went down and kissed the ring, and I suspect other parts of Donald Trump's body, and he had he started this ball.
Yeah.
And instead of and the thing is, Kevin McCarthy, I do not believe is as crazy politically as are Marjorie Taylor Greene and Jim Jordan. Some of them. He's conservative, but I don't think he's crazy conservative. But he's crazy with power. And he became blinded by having that gavel and sitting in the speaker's chair. And he finds himself likely not to be the Speaker of the House. I mean, after 3 rounds of losing, I don't know how he recovers from this.
Yeah, and it keeps going. The voting keeps going the other way too. It's not getting any better for him, Barrington. This is amazing.
Stacey, from the time that we began dealing with COVID, one of my mantras has been that it's revelation time, because there's so many different things that have happened in this country to show regular people that most of these institutions and these places that we have faith in don't deserve our faith, support, or trust. Republicans got repudiated in the midterms, but everything that they have been doing, the things that they've been saying they're going to do when they in this house, is all to aggravate Joe Biden, President Biden, start a whole bunch of investigations into his son.
Right.
They didn't have an agenda going into the presidential or the midterm elections, and they still don't have a goddamn agenda. So they serve no real purpose. And Kevin McCarthy is one of the most craven, foul, just weak people I've ever seen. He represents what used to be the Republican Party, and all they care about is power. So I love what's happening to him. I was listening to some folks on TV, and they were saying that if this goes on much longer, he's not going to even stay in the House. That he's going to leave, just resign, and with his tail between his legs and leave.
In shame,
Needs
right?
to leave. He needs to leave.
Goodness grief.
I suspect with my brother Barrington, I think you're right on point that if he does indeed lose the speakership, which is his absolute humiliation, as you said, Barrington, the first time in 100 years that speaker on either side has had to go beyond the first vote. Now we're talking about a fourth vote and possibly an even fifth vote.
Yeah.
So I suspect that if he does indeed not become speaker, that he will step down and return to California in shame and humiliation. And again, he gets no sympathy from he created it. And the interesting point, if I may make, is the man who has led to his downfall with becoming Speaker of the House, Donald J. Trump, has been silent today.
Not a word.
Not a word.
Not a word.
I'm not seeing, he can't tweet, but whatever. I've not heard a word from Donald Trump. And we all know that if all it would take is a phone call from Donald Trump to some of these nuts, 20 who are supporting Jordan, to say, support Kevin. Kevin's my guy.
Yeah.
He would have the votes he needs.
But isn't Jordan just as much a Trump guy?
Yes, he's more.
Is it more so, right?
The thing is that as I have watched this, as I've been reading about it, Kevin McCarthy is maybe the least liked person in the House. They don't like him. They don't like him as a person, they're saying. And for those, because I would never say that no Republican has principles or integrity, but he has none. And people that are close to him and people that know him have said he has no integrity, he has no morals, he has no political position. He goes in whatever direction he thinks is going to gain him some power or some traction or something. The thing that just kind of makes me shake my head is that after all these years of seeing what that clown at Mar-a-Lago has done to people, they have debased themselves, they've humiliated themselves, they've done all these things, and he does nothing. He doesn't reciprocate unless it's something that's going to be personally beneficial to him. When are these people going to learn? When are they going to learn?
And here's the thing. The speaker position is very important. It's second in line to the presidency.
Yeah.
That's right.
So you don't want a clown like that to be in that position. You don't really.
And Stacey, you mentioned that Jordan is as much of a Trump guy as is McCarthy. Absolutely right. But I've always suspected that Trump wants Jordan to be speaker. I think that Jordan wants to be speaker, and that talk about think about it. You've been in politics. An elected official in the House. Let's see. Do I want to be chairman of judiciary, or do I want to be the speaker? It's a member of Congress.
But Austin, this dude has been he has been representing Ohio for the past 14 years.
Yeah.
He has not passed one bill. I do not know. There's nothing that I've seen that suggests that he has the capability or the ability to be speaker.
Agreed. No,
maybe he's self-aware enough to know that he doesn't want to do it. Just heard that they voted to adjourn until tomorrow, so he's lost the first three votes.
Yeah,
and then they pick it up tomorrow.
Right, tomorrow, meaning those watching, meaning today.
Yeah, today. Yes, I'm sorry.
So they adjourned on Tuesday night after 3 rounds of voting. And this is again, this hasn't happened in 100 years.
Yeah.
And so here we have McCarthy is groveling for votes. And as you pointed out, Barrington, this guy, he's looked at as having no morals, nothing.
Yeah.
What he has been in this position now for a month and a half since the election, almost 2 months. And
you mean
all
trying to grab votes?
Exactly.
Yes.
So what more at this late hour can he do? What more can he offer that he hasn't already offered? He already agreed to some clause, some rule that would make it easier for
them to
remove him as speaker.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, what more can he possibly do? I know if I heard correctly, you gentlemen can correct me if I'm wrong, but yesterday he issued a statement or a tweet. This is Kevin McCarthy saying that he is fully on board for an investigation of Hunter Biden.
Oh,
I mean, again, groveling.
Yeah. No. But listen, he is calculated. He understands that he has to play along with the Boberts and the Marjorie Taylor Greens and the Matt Gaetzes. I mean, I'm looking at the position that he's in. Matt Gaetz is under investigation for sex trafficking and having sex with an underage girl. Jim Jordan was the assistant wrestling coach at Ohio State, and a number of wrestlers said that when they went to him and told him that they were being sexually harassed and molested by the coach, he did nothing. So there's nothing. So usually they would tell us that these people are our quote unquote leaders, that we should look up to them. There's nothing to look up to with these people. And then when you add to it that they're insurrectionists, that they're bald, brazen racists, that they hate women. I've been warring with some they call themselves Christians. I call them other things on Facebook, and they fully support Trump. And I'm saying, if you support the white domestic terror agenda, the white grievance, white resentment agenda, the anti-woman, anti-black, and these people are black, so they've been catching hell and calling me all types of names. And I'm saying to them, what is it that you see that I don't see? Because never in a million years would I support creatures like these people in the Republican Party.
Yeah. Well, so Austin, what we know, Hakeem Jeffries, he's got the most votes. We know he's not going to be speaker, but
no, don't say. We don't know yet.
Well, I mean, there's a slight chance that he could.
No, I think there's more than a slight chance.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think let me hear it.
What I've been hearing is that there is a significant part of the whole Republican caucus, I guess you'd call it. There are people. They said more than 100 Republicans that are more interested in working with the Democrats to pass legislation to do the people's business. If that is true, I'm not on the Capitol. I'm not on Capitol Hill, so I don't know. If that's true, they're saying that they'd be willing to support Hakeem to have somebody in that's going to have some legislative victories, do some work over the course of this next 2 years. Because and I'll just say one thing real quickly. No. Everybody, all these political pundits are just like just like it was when we had the midterms, where they talked about the red wave. Nobody knows, and these folks who are supposed to be the experts on Capitol Hill are saying that they don't know what comes next.
Right.
That would be. I mean, that would be wonderful.
Well, you think about that would be some sort of statement by the Republican leadership, by Republicans in general, to allow a Democrat when the Republicans have wrested control of the House, albeit a slim majority, to allow the speaker to come from the other side. It also would put a pin in, or they would not be able to impeach Biden at that point. No. The House wants to, the House Republicans want to impeach him. They will not be able to carry out these nefarious investigations that they want to. And if to have Hakeem with the speaker's gavel, it just doesn't fit what they want. Or Barrington perhaps is saying that they would rather do something that radical than have Kevin McCarthy as Speaker.
Yeah, but they're also saying that Scalise may be able to eke out a victory. So nobody knows for sure.
Yeah, I think it's more. I mean, look, Barrington, I hear
Mhm.
you, and that would, I've also, at the both of you, have heard that as well. But
Mhm.
I just think it's highly unlikely. I think it's
Mhm.
more likely. I mean, look, for them to be that magnanimous, the Republican,
Yeah.
in the House,
Would go against form.
I mean, they have not demonstrated,
Yeah.
that in the past, in the past 2 years,
Yeah.
So I just don't think that's going to happen. I think it's more likely that that McCarthy is going to lose, and Scalise or someone else will step in. I just cannot see the Republican base, the Republican caucus,
Doing that.
even a few, coming
Yeah.
across the line to support Hakeem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. But they said Elise Stefanik is kind of positioning herself if if they decide that, well, when they decide they got to go in another direction, because there's nothing that indicates that Mr. McCarthy is gonna be able to win. Maybe he can go join Devin Nunes with running Trump's, what is that? Is that Truth Social or whatever they call it?
Truth Social, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? Again, what Jeffrey's he would only need 6 Republican votes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So
That
it's not and the thing is that for me, I say the pox on all their houses, because it's not as if the Democrats are so much better than Republicans, because I judge what their actions by how they deal with our issues and concerns of Black people, and they've done some things, but not nearly enough in my mind for all of the support that they've gotten in the 2020 presidential election and the midterms.
You know who could give Kevin McCarthy some good political advice right now is Nancy Pelosi, because she
Yeah.
knows how to. I mean, she knows how to. I mean, I'm being sarcastic, of course, but she knows how to count both. And it was so good to see her in the, in the chamber as as a regular member of
Member, yeah.
Congress.
Yeah.
And on 3 occasions, on the last vote, she said, said our brother's name 3 times, Hakeem,
Yeah.
Hakeem,
Yeah.
Hakeem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see, here's the thing. That week needs Sissy, McCarthy. He don't have nothing. He doesn't have even a trace of the grit
Nope.
and resilience that Nancy Pelosi has. And he's so goddamn stupid that I'm sure that if she tried to give him advice, he wouldn't take it.
Nope.
Because he thinks he doesn't need it.
Agreed.
Wow.
Agreed.
So
he said, Austin, did you hear that? He said, weak need sissy.
And we are just 3 days into 2023. So it's going to be an exciting year with our
but seriously, brothers, when I see just how he's mealy mouth, he's wishy-washy, you cannot be a person in the real world, in this world, and not have principles that you adhere to.
Absolutely.
There has to be some things that you say that crosses the line. I'm not going to do that, and he's not that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if he'll even learn from this to see that all of this is because of how weak he is, how unfit, how unsuited he is. But I don't even know if you'll see that.
Can't you say that about a number of these folks?
Of course. Listen, Stacey, I told you I did a quick calculation. Math is not my thing. I just added up the 535 people in Congress. The Speaker and the Senate Majority Leader, they make $224,000 a year. Everybody else makes $174,000. We're spending a little more than $93 million a year for people that aren't giving us, the American people, what we need most of all. It's a waste of money. And I saw a study that said that Congress only passes legislation that deals with 1% of what the public needs. They are the wholly owned subsidiaries of the ultra rich and the wealthy and the billionaire class. They don't work for us. They don't do anything for us. So I have been of the opinion, and I've gotten suspended on Facebook for saying that we need to burn it down.
They
Because it don't serve no purpose.
Suspended you.
Oh, I get suspended. I stay in Facebook prison. I'm always in prison for some foolishness. They've gone back to look for things 2-3 years ago. You did something 3 years ago. Oh, okay. So I most
He's to the point, Austin, where something happens. He didn't have to even be around.
No.
He's suspended.
It's true.
Yeah. Pull up Barrington's file.
Yeah.
Look, guys. So, here's another thing on the docket that we want to talk about too. Skip Bayless found himself flustered and alone on Tuesday morning's episode of his show, Skip and Shannon Undisputed. His co-host and counterpart, Shannon Sharp, apparently boycotted the show.
Oh, he didn't come on?
He didn't come on.
Whoa.
And Skip made a comment. He says, well, I look forward to seeing him tomorrow. But, of course, what happened Monday night was such a it was so painful to watch. Yeah. And then Skip Bayless decided to tweet and got himself in a whole lot of trouble. I saw Nina Turner was one of the first to respond to his tweet.
Yeah.
But his thing was more of, what is the NFL going to do? We got to get this game in somehow.
But when you're a shill for the NFL, that's what they're paying you to do. They don't think of the players as human beings. They don't think of them as flesh and blood. So I'm not surprised. I love Twitter and social media for the fact that you say some garbage like that and you get dragged forever and ever. Amen. So they've been dragging him, and he deserves it. People have been calling for him to be fired. I don't know if Fox is going to do that.
Yeah, I don't know if Fox is going to do that either. But here's his exact tweet. He said, and then he has some defenders to say, hey, it wasn't that bad. So here's what he said exactly, word for word. He said, no doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game. But how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, which suddenly seems so irrelevant. Bayless, he tried to repair them. He said it suddenly seemed so irrelevant. He was called out for questioning how could they postpone that game.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they made the, I'm not a football fan, just to be clear. I was looking at the news last night and reading when that became the breaking news, and it just was so painful to see again and again and again that young 24-year-old brother, stand up after what looked like a normal tackle, and then to collapse like that. And so a commentator said this morning, thank God that he was literally in an emergency room.
Yeah.
They got to him within 10 seconds, started working on his chest, or this brother would not be here. But I think it goes to a broader issue. And sometimes I'll watch football. I don't profess to understand football completely, but it's exciting. It can be exciting to watch. But to me, at the end of the day, it's just a very barbaric sport, and it is a sport where you are really tempting fate every time you go on to the field. I think I heard a coach or someone say, every football game, it's like watching at least between 60 and 70 car collisions. And that's what it is. And, I'm hopeful and prayerful that this young brother makes a complete recovery. And I don't know, what the answer is, in terms of the rest of the season. I do know that they made the right decision to
without question.
to cancel the game. I mean, the Buffalo Bills played. I mean, you saw them crying. They were clearly emotional, and even opponents on the opposite team were clearly emotional. So those men, those brothers, would not have been in a mental, did not have the mental capacity to complete that game. And had they attempted to complete that game with them in that mental state, there might have been more injuries or further injuries.
Well, his name is Damar Hamlin.
Yep. Hamlin, yes, and
he's 24 years old. He's a defensive back for the Bills.
Yeah,
they said he's in critical condition.
Yeah, and just an update on the Shannon Sharpe situation. Shannon Sharpe is now saying he's not sure when he will return to the show because of Skip Bayless's tweet.
And it's what I've been thinking about is the fact that the NFL is in just about every aspect of plantation, and the young men who play are units of production, and they have a very short shelf life. I think they said like 3 to 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they're the only major sport that doesn't have guaranteed contracts.
Many don't have guaranteed contracts.
Like fully guaranteed contracts.
Right.
So you got to get in and get your stuff before you leave.
Correct.
And so that just, to me, that just exacerbates the situation and makes it more desperate, if that's even the right word, for those who are coming in to try to get in and get as much as you can before your time is up.
Yeah.
It is in my mind controlled violence. And I look at Junior Seau, Dave Dewison, and Mike Webster, and all of these other NFL players who suffered from CTE. Led several of them to Dewison and Junior Seau killed himself. Mike Webster was an absolute shell of what he was when he was playing.
Yep.
And the NFL tried to have a two-tiered system that they paid white players different from black players, which to me is the equivalent of you going to the hospital and they're saying that they're not going to give you any medication because black people have a higher pain tolerance than white people. So it's the same medical racism that they're using. They've used you. You have suffered because of the circumstances in which you played, and then when it's time for them to pay you, they want to act like you don't deserve it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we mentioned that yesterday as well. How the players' contracts in the NFL are not guaranteed, and other sports. Look, baseball. You got guys this offseason signing $300 million contracts, and guess what? If they broke their leg and the doctor says they could never play again tomorrow,
they get paid.
They get the entire.
But they deserve it.
Entire contract.
They deserve it.
Yeah. Well, the NFL does not have that. The NBA and
that's because
and
the plantation, bruh. That's because you have 32 plantation owners, and they're powerful enough to ensure, because nobody can say that they're not making the money.
Yeah.
Because the Dallas Cowboys, I think I read somewhere that they were like $5 billion. They're worth $5 billion.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
They got the money. They're just greedy.
And isn't this the same? Who's the former head or current head? I don't know, of the Dallas Cowboys, who a picture came out of the 1950s or 60s.
Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones. Yeah. Where he was
1950s.
Yeah. Involved
in Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yep, the Little Rock, Arkansas situation.
Yeah.
Well, guys, also, I just want to go back. We certainly will continue to be thinking about Damar Hamlin of the Buffalo Bills, and we're hopeful that he'll continue to progress. But I just wanted to mention this too, going back to the House of Representatives. Everyone was being sworn in today, and George Santos casted his vote, and he was booed. His constituents really gave it to him. He had it coming. George had it coming, didn't he?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this, leader of this clown car now officially a member of the 118th
Congress.
Congress. I think I read in the papers a day or two ago that the government of Brazil or some court in Brazil is now examining, looking into him or investigating him for some type of,
Yep.
some type of fraud.
He stole a bunch of checks, and he stole some checks from someone and cashed them and stuff. So yeah.
I mean, if Kevin McCarthy does indeed go down, as is increasingly looking like he will, that may very well, reduce, the shelf life of this, of this liar here.
I think his shelf life is short anyway, because he's being investigated by the Nassau County District Attorney. He's being investigated by Trish James in New York. Plus the ethics committee in Congress and the DOJ have said that they're gonna. So he ain't gonna be in there long. But he's there because he said he would. He announced publicly that he would vote for Kevin McCarthy.
Exactly.
And when you have a putrid mess of what used to be a party where they have no principles, they're liars and scoundrels and thieves. They're gonna invite in another liar and scoundrel and thief to be a part of the.
And where he's at now, Barrington and Austin. Now that he's been sworn in, if he's removed, there has to be a special election, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it only Republican, right?
I'm
No.
sorry, what'd you say, Barrington?
No.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, Stacey?
It can only be a Republican to replace him, right?
No, I mean
No?
Governor Hobuck would call a special election, and Democrat and Republican
would run. Yeah,
run.
Okay, because I know Donald, the seat that that was vacant by the unfortunate death of Rep. McGeechan, Donald McGeechan. There's a special election in February for his. And my thought was perhaps the Republicans wanted Santos to get sworn in so that it would ensure that there would be a Republican, but you say that's not the case. It would be open to both parties.
Yeah, I think it'll be both parties.
They're not.
They can't afford to lose seats.
Yeah, nope. They're not looking so far down the road, Stacey. They're dealing with right now.
Right now, right here.
Yeah. So
wow.
And the conventional wisdom coming into the the vote for Speaker today was that McCarthy was down by 5 votes, but I think he knew what we all know now, and that he had a significant uphill battle to climb of at least 20. I mean, think about it. On the first 2 votes, he had 19 voting against him of his caucus. On the third vote, it went up to 20.
The 20, yeah.
He lost 1. So
it's gone the wrong way.
Yep.
Yeah. But it couldn't happen to a better guy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It couldn't happen to a better guy.
3 attempts. What was that baseball term? 3 strikes you out, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, but I think from what I saw when I was watching, they said the last time that they had 3 votes for Speaker was like 1847.
And have they ever had 4?
Oh yeah, they had as many as I think like 13, 14.
I don't remember.
Gosh, who was that era's Kevin McCarthy?
Oh, I'd have to go look it up, but I saw it on TV when I was watching earlier today. And they had it. Yeah.
At some point, don't you just say, you know what, y'all can have this?
No, it's power, boy. It's power. They don't care about that.
I mean, I think that we may see history tomorrow, and if Kevin McCarthy doesn't fails again on the 4th vote, I mean, to your point, Stacey, at what point do you say, I've been humiliated, I need to I'm gonna exit stage left.
But Austin, the most important person in those political circles is a whip. And they said McCarthy was a whip.
Yes, he was.
You don't bring anything to the floor if you don't have the votes.
But he did.
He did
well,
what?
By law, they had to bring the speakership today.
Yeah. Well, true. But I mean, to your point, Barrington and Stacey, by law, he had to bring it to the floor. But which I said, a few moments ago, going in, he knew that he didn't have the votes despite his public postures. And I think he may have made a grave error by moving his belongings into the speaker's office.
He actually did that, huh?
Measuring the drapes.
Yeah. Oh, no,
He did that. He did that for true.
No, he and his staff, he and his senior
Wow.
staff, Pelosi moved out last week, and he and his staff moved in, and they may have to change the carpeting and the drapes.
Arrogance and hubris.
Yep.
So they moved into the speaker's office, and
That's right.
we may have to move out. Wow.
I mean, that might have been a psychological, what he called.
Well, he's been at this since. He's been at this in earnest, I should say, since the election, right? Since November.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he couldn't get the votes after 2 months.
Nope.
Because he's weak.
Wow.
And the interesting thing, in the beginning, the first vote, he was surrounded by aides and supporters and all that stuff. And towards the end of the third vote, he was sitting by himself,
looking at his phone. I saw.
Looking at his phone. So all of the rats jumped ship and left him by himself.
No, you're right. You're right, Barrington.
They're in here somewhere. Let me look at.
And you're absolutely right, Barrington. On the first vote, even after the first vote, he seemed very calm. That was what he was projecting. Very calm, very relaxed. I got this. I got this. On the second vote, he looked, a little nervous. I got this. I got this. But on that third vote, he looked concerned.
Yeah.
So what does this do long term? Will it have any long term, regardless of who takes over as speaker, whether it's McCarthy, whether it's Jordan or Scalise or someone else in the Republican Party? What does this mean long term? Will it have an effect?
Yes, of course.
And in what ways?
The thing that a lot of people, I think, miss, what we're seeing is the almost complete erosion of institutions. The Supreme Court has the worst approval ratings in its history because of the far right majority. Congress used to have good numbers, but it has steadily slid. People don't, and then if you take into consideration what Trump has been doing, what Republicans have been doing to try to erode people's faith and trust in elections, it's all in the same bag.
Right.
So I think that somebody's gonna get elected. It's probably gonna be a Republican. They ain't gonna do a goddamn thing for the 2 years they're in.
Exactly.
And already in the midterms, they were repudiated because most people don't want these extremists running anything. So I think in the long run, it's going to affect Congress, but it's going to affect what used to be the Republican Party more.
And let's think about it. We have a we have a presidential election next year. And can you believe we're saying that? Next year?
Right. Yeah.
And depending on how the House Republicans do, and after the clown show we witnessed today is any indication, at least in the House, it's not going to get any better, no matter who they put in as the speaker. So I'll put it out there. I think that based on what we saw today and what we've seen in the last 2 months with the House Republican base, that Democrats will regain control of the House in 2 years, and will likely keep the White House. I will say on one final note, if I may, I am encouraged, at least encouraged, that tomorrow Mitch McConnell is going to appear with President Biden in Kentucky. I forgot what the legislative initiative is, but I think McConnell recognizes that Joe Biden got some juice.
But you give him much more credit than I do, because what really happened, my understanding, is that there's a whole bunch of money from the bills that no Republican supported that is going to Kentucky for infrastructure. So as long as there's pork and money coming to Kentucky, he gonna be beside Biden, so he can say, "Look at what Biden and I did."
Yeah, but on that, I believe, and I hear what you're saying, Barrington, but I believe that, and I forgot I think it was the infrastructure bill or something that they're going to be promoting tomorrow. If my memory serves keeping me correct, and I may be wrong, McConnell did support the White House initiative, White House legislation on that. But to your point, my brother, there have been, there were several Biden legislative victories where Republicans, voted against. But when the money started coming to their districts, they were releasing press release saying that we support, we are bipartisan, and we played.
Look at what we did. They're a bunch of man, I tell you, I cannot say what I want to say.
We will not allow that.
I know.
Well, guys, just a couple of quick things. A couple of things we missed earlier this week. I just wanted to make sure that we acknowledge the untimely passing of Earth, Wind, and Fire drummer Fred White. Died at the age of 67. Sad news there. And of course, Lola Chantrell Mitchell, who we all know from 3 6 Mafia as Gangsta Boo, passed away as well. She was 43 years old.
Oh, wow.
So two big passings in the world of music, hip hop and pop music. Earth, Wind, and Fire bassist passed away. Fred White, brother of Verdine and Maurice.
He was a drummer, wasn't he?
Gangsta Boo from 3 6 Mafia. We don't know the cause of death at this point. Doesn't even, that doesn't really factor in that we want to acknowledge and pay tribute. Anita Pointer, founder member of the Pointer Sisters, also passed away. Boy, what a way to start out 2023, right?
Yeah.
Losing some real talented people.
Absolutely.
Well, we are constantly reminded how tenuous life is. And we have to make sure that we do everything we can, make the most use of it, squeeze it dry. I say rest in peace to all of them.
Absolutely.
And for those of us who are here, walk gently.
Yeah.
Because we don't know when it's our time.
When the angel of death will come.
Yeah.
And prayers for their respective
families
as well.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thanks as always, Austin Cooper and Barrington Salmon. These guys are always bringing the heat. Always, never fails. But we really appreciate you here on Let It Be Known. And Barrington, we got I want to see more of your writing. Come on, man.
Oh, I got a whole bunch of stuff that's coming out soon. I'm an old man now. I can't do the type of stuff I used to do when I was young anymore. I gotta get my naps and that type of thing.
Naps. You gotta get his
naps. Great.
Yeah. Tell me about it. I need a nap.
You need a nap.
Thanks again, guys. We always appreciate y'all. We appreciate all you for watching Let It Be Known.
Thanks for having us.
Happy New Year. Thanks.
Happy New Year.